Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to another video with me, Mystery Flipping. My name is Josh. So as I said in the previous video, I do really apologise that the last video was 30 minutes long, and also that it wasn't necessarily my best content. As I said, this one will be the PPG values of everything that we saw in the first one. So if you haven't seen it, just quickly go back and have a little check. Even if you just breeze through, you'll see, of course, everything that we got. As I said, it was an auction win. It was a decent win. If I put it this way, today is Thursday, and I have now sold every single pop that I now didn't either collect or was looking to sell. So that is all the pops from Whole Pops, all of these auctions that you have seen. So that is pretty awesome. It was, well, I can't really complain with the pops that I got to keep. So I kept the Nun, the Creeper, Hannibal Lecter. I gave my daughter Ariel for when she grows up. A friend of mine wanted My Little Pony, which of course I gifted. We actually did, of course, make profit, which is awesome. So I cannot complain with that. What is awesome is in some aspects, can't wait to get back to my place now, because I have a lot of mail call. So I have a signed Funko Pop that's just arrived. I have an awesome horror pop that has arrived. I've got a couple of calls from Amazon, which is pretty awesome. I want to say I've got another 2 horror pops, one on an auction for really cheap. Not necessarily in the best quality, but they are 2 horror pops that I've really wanted. And hopefully today, which of course is Thursday, this video comes out tomorrow, I possibly am looking at getting a massive haul of pops worth, I think, a decent value, and hopefully we'll win that auction. And if we do, we will of course show you what we got. But I definitely think there's a little bit of profit, but also some awesome pops in there that we will all enjoy. So hopefully we will get that. Of course, it's not a guarantee, but apart from that, I hope you guys do enjoy this next video. I do apologise, I cannot wait to get back to videoing like normal. And of course, until next time guys, I shall see you all. Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to part 3 of this 24 pop kind of, not mystery, but mystery auction, because I kind of forgot what was in here. So I paid £116, and as you saw in the last 2 parts, you would have seen the pops that we actually got out. And now I have been able to go on to the pop price guide. I can speak English, I promise. And gone around and just kind of look what they're going for, and if we lost or potentially gained any money. And that is the main thing, you know. If you can kind of buy pops that you know you don't necessarily want, but maybe want 1 or 2 of them, and you can get it for a price that is under what you could sell the rest for, then do it. Honestly, you know, even if I kept, let's say 2 or 3 that I liked, and I can break even on what I've purchased, and being able to make some kind of cool videos. I'm going to say they're cool, it's me, you know, I'm not necessarily the coolest guy in the world, but you know, some cool content for you guys, and still break even and have something at the end of it that you feel quite rewarded with, then by all means go ahead. You know, yes, if you're you might have to put a little bit of work into it, but as long as you're willing to commit and you know where to look, then by all means do it. I do apologise if you can hear anything outside. My window is open at the moment. It is so hot. It's unreal. And my neighbours are out at the moment, just enjoying themselves. So we're going to go from the top left. So I do apologise if you keep seeing me go like that, and looking down, because it actually has my prices here. So the first one that we actually got out of the box was the Batman. So this Batman is at £8 PPG, so £8 potentially. Followed by number 2 is the Gunslinger. The Gunslinger is £7 PPG, so you know, £15 at the moment isn't too bad at all. Firestorm, it was number 3. That currently goes at £6. One thing I will say, even if there are little nicks on these boxes, which there is here, people don't mind still paying £6, especially, I don't know what it's like, of course, in the US necessarily. But even you probably at worst will sell this for a fiver. But most pops, even if they're damaged, will go for £5. And that is just the way that kind of it is in the kind of UK economy. I don't know why, but people will pay kind of £5 for a pop. Number 2 is, of course, Lieutenant Starbuck. That did I say number 2? Number 4, sorry. That comes out at £7. It isn't in the worst condition. I just need to move her, like I said. But her paint has kind of not damaged, but kind of scuppered a little bit. X23 was number 5. This was actually a pain in the backside to try and find how much this one was, but I did find it. It is worth £12. So currently it is the most expensive one. And I believe the next one is the most expensive. So if you did say this next one as the most expensive pop from part 2, then you were right. And that is the special edition Hulk Hogan. It's not much difference, but this one is at £13. So you can't go wrong with that. £13 there. So number 7 was, of course, Batman 1989. This is worth £8. Then we go to Aladdin of Agrabah. I think that's how you say it. That is worth £5. So again, you can't go wrong with it. The number 9 was probably one of my favourite Batmans, if not my favourite Batman there was, which was Batman Merciless. I had to remember them. But Batman Merciless, I thought, was the best looking one. And I thought that would be the most expensive one, but it's only £9. But that is it for the kind of Batmans. What I will probably do with Batmans, PPG, yes, they say about £9 or £8. I probably will try and mark them up at £10 and say, look, you can have all 3 Batman for 3 for £25. You know, you save yourself a little bit of money with the PPG, but not just that, it kind of gets it out of my hair quicker by kind of bulking them. Number 10 was Black Manta. So Black Manta was £5. Again, I don't mind £5 prices. Like I said, I paid £116 for it, so I rounded it to 120. That works out £5 a pop. So if it's £5, it's £5. But if there's some that are worth £7 or £8, then you're making, you know, £2 or £3 profit. So when it comes to a pop that you do want, it's always a bonus. Honestly, I promise you. The Flash Jay Garrick was number 11. This was £7 PPG. So not too bad for a prop that I really don't, not been harsh to care about. And the last one from box number 1 was Sub-Zero. This one is at £9. So I can tell you the first part of the video had the most expensive one. And I think in general it has the most value to it, was part 1. So when we go to part 2, they're not as necessarily as expensive, but I don't mind. The first one from part 2 was Mr. Negative. Mr. Negative is worth £5, and I still think he looks like Colonel Sanders. The next one was The Mummy. Like I said, I thought she looked cool, but the film was an absolute letdown. But this one is vaulted, so I thought maybe it would be worth a little bit more, but it's worth only £7. But I do find this out, that a lot of vaulted ones in the UK, for some reason, aren't necessarily as lucrative or as expensive as they normally are. The next one is Bruce Banner. This is supposedly worth £7. I will probably mark this up at £5. Purely because it is absolutely battered. I will say it is probably an out-of-box pop. But there will be someone out there that won't mind what the box looks like. So what can you do? As long as you mark it up saying, look, it is damaged, you know, you don't, not being harsh, con anyone. That's the one thing that I don't like, is kind of people that try to con people by saying, yes, it's absolutely mint condition, when actually it's not. And that's one thing that the seller did do. In the auction, he categorically said, do not bid on this unless you look at the condition. So I knew that some of these were going to be damaged. So, you know, I respect that. The next one, I do apologise, I've lost where I am, is Raiden at £8. So Raiden and Sub-Zero together come to £17, but I probably will do 2 for £15. You know, it's not a massive knockdown, but at least you're trying to give some sort of deal, and also it will just be a quick flip. So then we go on to the 3 Overwatch. I do apologise. And this one I will definitely be doing a deal. They are not necessarily the most expensive ones, but you got Hanzo at £6. Then I flip my book around. We go to a Torbjorn at £6. And Doomfist also at £6. So the way that I look at that is I've looked online, and they are actually going for £10. So I probably will mark it up at £10, and do 3 for 20. Purely because if they are selling for £10, then I don't see the point in putting the PPG value of £6 on there. And they are literally selling at £10. So if I can get 3 gone for 20, I work on PPG prices, and you know, it still breaks it even. The next one was Sark. Now, if you had said Sark was the least expensive, you would be right. And it kind of shocked me. I mean, like I said, I wasn't a fan of Tron. I didn't understand it. And I know it's not necessarily the most lucrative one, but when it says glow in the dark, I am shocked that it was only worth £4. But hey, what can you do? The next one is Supergirl. Like I said, I actually wanted Poison Ivy, and Poison Ivy is actually the most expensive one out of them. But still, I cannot complain with Supergirl, and it is worth £7. Going on to the final 3, we have T'Challa. Like I say, I'm recording these back to back, so even though they're coming out a few days between each other, I'm recording it kind of back, so that's why it still looks like this. But T'Challa is also worth £7, and I think you probably will get £7. I mean, the box is fine, so why not? And again, we go to the Deadpools, and the Deadpools aren't necessarily worth a whole lot. So this Deadpool is worth for £5. Did you hear that? For 5. Had a bit of a starter there. So £5, I reckon it's because it was Christmas, and I'm just like, Christmas. But like I said, worth £5, and Bedtime Deadpool, the last one, was worth £7. So even though PPG tells you a certain price, always mark it, if you have the time, just a little bit higher, because people will pay. But not just that, you then have movement to go back to the PPG value. Never go on PPG value, because people will try and get a deal out of you. So always, 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 you know, even if it's only £1 more, you know, every now and then you'll get that £1 extra from PPG. But then it also allows you that movement to have £1 lower than PPG if you need it. For instance, a prime example, Bruce Banner, it's £7 PPG, but I will not sell that for £7. The box in general is absolutely horrific. It's not worth £7, it's worth £5. So if you go and sell, you know, the Deadpools for 2 for £15, you know, it's worth £14 PPG, but you've made an extra £1. You know, always work on PPG so that you're not losing money, but also take into account that you are going to have boxes that are going to be broken or not necessarily in the best condition, and you will need to cut the price down. So if you can add prices onto it every now and then, that's what you've got to do. But like I said, I spent £106 on the actual auction, plus £10 shipping, so £116 altogether. And with the PPG altogether, it's worth £171. So even if I sold some, you know, I would do delivery costs, depending on where they are. I'll also look to sell locally. I also, like I say, in previous videos, I have my Twitter, I have Instagram, which are just literally mystery flipping. But though I think for some reason my Instagram might be a mystery flipper, I think it changed for some reason. But I also do have a Facebook group, and that group at the moment has me just selling, but I am willing, and I do not mind people joining to sell their own pops too. If that is something that you guys want to do, by all means do. It's also a good way to get people communicating together. I mean, I'm only doing videos. One, because I enjoy it. Two, I like Funkos. And three, I watch a lot of people do Funko mystery boxes. But for me, the biggest ball ache for me is that they are mainly all from the American and Canadian communities, which I have absolutely no problem with. But when I compare it to the UK economy, it is completely different. And one thing that I really want to do, and I will pull it right here, right now, is that I do want to do a Shumi massive mystery box. And when I say massive, I mean it's huge. So I am looking in the long run to try and buy 30 on the rack mystery boxes, which comes to $1,406. That's including shipping. So that works out about £1,100 out of my pocket. But the reason I want to do it is because, one, I think it's worth it. I think that when you break down the numbers, it works out about £5.67p a pop. And I think you can make that back. But you can get chases, you can get exclusives, you can get Comic-Con conventions. You know, these are coming from America. And I do think that the pops that come from America are so much better. Absolutely, I know that they come from exactly the same place, and people will say that. But when you have the exclusive sticker from a New York Comic-Con, or, you know, a Chicago, Atlanta, anything like that, it is so much better. Absolutely amazing. And that is what I intend to do. And then in the long run, you know, I'm going to look into doing other things. So, you know, on my Facebook page, I want to do little raffles, you know, £1 a number. If you're lucky and I pick that number, you get the pop maybe for £1. You know, something that is worth, let's just say Hulk Hogan, £13. I know it's only £13, but you're saving money. And having a bit of fun and a good communication. But that's something that I am looking forward to doing in the future, which is what I want to be doing with you guys. So please do leave a like if you like this video. Comment where you're from, what companies you use, what collections do you have, and of course subscribe if you're new around here, and of course share this with your friends. I'm only new. It's absolute dreadful lighting. I'm a bit of an idiot. I know that. I'm not stupid. I have the stupidest lisp in the world, and it is hilarious. So please do leave a like, and I shall see you all very, very soon.